Hi, hello, and I am live, and today I am translating about photography, adult photography, and I create photo shoots in boudoir, glamour, nude photography, explicit photography, and make love scenes. Okay, make love scenarios for couples, of course, and it could be individuals hiring hot models, right? That's also an option. And I will be discussing questions, what clients are asking me before they would like to visit the studio, or in general just leaving a questions for me to reply, right? So I will be just cracking on here. Okay, so the first question is this. Hi there, I am interested in hiring model with girlfriend experience for a photo shoot with your studio. How much would that cost? Okay, so first of all, I would like to explain that this is most likely will be a male client, right? A guy who would like to book a photo shoot, okay, for himself. Photo shoot for himself with the hot model. What is this, the girlfriend experience? Okay, girlfriend experience usually is an escort service from adult models. Very standard service. Okay, nothing crazy, nothing wild. Okay, girlfriend experience would not involve anything fetish or anything kinky. Okay, girlfriend experience is a romantic situation, right? Usually when people are meeting for a date, okay, they go for a date for the restaurant and then they go to hotel, right? So skipping the date part, okay, the client is arriving to the studio and meeting a model at my studio. Okay, what happens when people are hiring the model for their photo shoot? So I really recommend this for single guys, okay? Photography, erotic photography, nude photography with hot and sexy models. For one and simple reason is that it's the best therapy for a male, right? Because when you stay too long by yourself, and becomes hard to imagine how it will be with the female, okay, being next to you, around you, creating these moments together, right? So the models represents that, okay, represents that woman who most likely you would like to meet in the real dating world, okay? So we insinuate this situation. A client could just have any kind of fantasy, right, or request her wearing a sexy black dress, okay, or her wearing sexy lingerie, right? The model can change during the photo shoot several times into hot and sexy outfits, right, to create the fantasy. And of course we discuss with the client details, what they would like to shoot, okay, how they would like it, right? So not every model will want specific things, right? So when you have a model in an adult business, right, when they are not shooting in front of the camera, you can request certain things, right? When the model arrives to the studio and knows that it's going to be photography or videos for a private use for that client, they are being also picky, okay? Not every scene they would like to shoot, okay? So I am that lead between the client and the model, okay? I am talking and contacting on the client's behalf ladies, females who work in adult business. And there are different models. There are tantric models, right? Tantric models provide massage service. When you go to massage parlor, for example, right, and when you have a body relaxation session, that's going to be something like that, okay? Shooting with the tantric model, shooting with the escort model is going to be a straightforward shoot, okay, where the model will be seducing you, putting hands on you, undressing you. You will be undressing the model, okay? And then the topic will, reveal what is going to happen next, right? But I will discuss with the model details what the client wants, okay? So he would like to probably shoot dressed, right? Then semi-nude, topless. Then undressed in the sexy lingerie shoot, then naked, right? And then certain adult games, role play scenarios, right? So we will just discuss what the client likes, how he would like it, okay? Then we will talk with the model. I will talk with the model, and I will be that connecting link you with the model. Okay, the reason why I have models available to shoot is because I am shooting adult photography, and models contact my studio. They would like to create sexy pictures for their portfolios. That is how I have those models in my contact, right? So I'm not an agency here, okay? I do not stack the models, right? But I do have models to offer. And of course I work with the agency because we have very choosy clients as well who would like to have like a top end, high end model, right? So I would say VIP situation, right? And that's going to be a very special model, and it's going to be a very special price for that model. Okay, so replying to the question, I am interested in hiring model with the girlfriend experience. It will be a very standard girlfriend experience at the studio. So it's going to be maybe kissing, touching definitely, undressing definitely, and then depending on the adult fantasy, okay? Oral session, oral on the girl or a blow, right, situation. And then some intimacy, some penetration shoot might happen, okay, in the studio, right? So that's what this photo shoot, intimate photo shoot entail. That's why I am saying it's very easy to shoot with a model, okay? When you're a single guy and you long time, have not had any sexy date, okay? It's a breaking ice experience. Not only breaking ice experience, but you are proving that it can happen, okay? Creating those memories, being nice to the model, right? The model being sexy with you, seducing you, playing with you around, right? You can be maybe dancing, okay? Whatever you would want to do during the shoot, it is possible with a hot and sexy lady, right? So that you can record in your head, in your brain, and memorize this, how it feels to be with the woman, a hot woman, if you would like to practice that, right? So that's what's happening. How much would that cost is another question, what people would like to know, right, when they're shooting adult adventures with the model. So first of all, there is a model fee. Model fee depends on the model experience, on the model's looks, right, and on the model's service, how long model will stay at the studio, okay? So you will pay a model's fee. Now, the most confusing situation is this: when there is one guy booking a shoot, you would assume that he is booking a shoot for one person, right? And so he would like to pay a deposit and say this is one solo shoot fee. But solo shoot fee includes one person in the studio. When you are inviting someone, okay, is it your friend, is it your lover, okay, you're inviting your anyone you're inviting and you would like to have a hot and sexy adventure, it's going to be two people in the studio, and you will be priced for two people service, okay? The reason why is because one solo shoot and couple shoot or two people shoot, it's a totally different experience, it's a totally different session. What you can create with someone else at the studio, you are not possible to do by yourself, by any means, okay? No matter what you would do, how you would play with yourself, it is totally different scenario when you have a female next to you, okay? Because you are going towards creating sexual, intimate adventures, okay? Sexual energy, you will be aroused, you will be horny in the different way, okay? So having a model, it works in a different way, okay? And you're paying a studio for two people, okay? So I will be charging you as a couple shoot, right? So that's here I would like to just confirm again, even if you are a single guy you are booking a model, right, you're paying for you and a model shooting at the studio, and on top of that you are paying when you're hiring a model deposit and paying a model's fee, Okay, depending on the service, what you agree with the model. That's how it works here at my adult studio when we create photoshoot and hire hot and sexy models, right? Okay, another question was how much does it cost? I forgot to tell. So couples session fee would be 740, just a deposit. And then depending what we do and how long we stay. Is it a photography? Is it a videos? Is it both photography and videos? What will be the post-production? How many hours I will stay on this project and on this gig? Okay, not how long you are shooting, there are 1 or 2 hours and you paying, right? But how long I will stay producing the product you like. Okay, if you do not want any post-production, then I will be just converting the files and providing with that information. So we will be agreeing after the shoot because I would know how big is the project, right? So I am shooting 5 hours, will be one price. I'm shooting 5 hours and editing 20 hours, it's gonna be another price, right? It's depending on the situation, right? Going back to next question here, and here is this. My wife wished to be here, wish for her birthday, which is then to make an erotic photo shoot, single and us as a couple. Can you contact me or email me on this number to give me more details about how it will be? How it will be. Yeah, that's a very popular question. When people looking for a photo shoot, right, and here is the couple here, looking for a couple's photo shoot, they choosing at, at the different studios, they're looking at boudoir studios. Okay, and boudoir studios provide boudoir portraits. Okay, portraits. So there is a single shoot, yes, and there is a couple shoot. The difference between the studios is a service in general, how they do it. Okay, so when you choose or look for boudoir studios, there are very limited sessions in there. Limited in service, limited in photography, limited in videos, limited in experience. Okay, so there are studios who do not want you to go into an intimate mode, penetration shoot, and have a frisky, risky, and kinky adventure at the studio, right? They're shooting a certain things, and they're doing it with everyone, and that's a conveyor experience. Okay, that's kind of a business, right? When I am a creative studio, right, I have something different to offer. Just because I am working in adult business already for 20 years, so I have that experience, and also I have a medical background. Okay, not only photography, but a totally different background, which is very useful when it comes to undressing, nudity, and shooting, intimate scenarios. Okay, so that's why I'm very flex and open-minded when it comes to shooting more than boudoir. There are some people who would just say we want to go beyond the boudoir photo shoot. And beyond the boudoir photo shoot, it means erotic fantasies, it means going into explicit mode, very close up, and it means that creating different things what involves penetration, fantasies as well, and making cum shots. Shooting up to the end, leading my couple into the climax, right? So that's the difference of the other studios, because the other studios will just stay with their beautiful and sensual photography, which is what that is, right? For me, it is very natural and understandable. But when the couple would like to memorize, right, their passion, they want to show, how hot they are with each other, right? They have feelings for each other, and when they're shooting sensual, intimate photography, they're getting turned on, right? They're getting turned on, they're getting both horny. They naturally, it's not that I at the studio that I chose to shoot, you know, intimate scenes. No, it was for me like a natural way to finish the shoot, because I could see that the couple is horny and turn on and want to shoot more and go to, you know, to the climax, right? It's not that, okay, you undress, now you go. So that's how I practice this, and that's how I think it is normal in my head, right? To not to let people go with the hard on from the studio, but they can actually get aroused, and then they create those scenes and see for themselves, okay, how they look like, how they feel, right? In that position, in that moment. Okay, so I am with them through all the experience, right? That's the thing. Okay, so what it says, it's a single and the couple should required during one session, which is very much popular. Okay, because ladies usually will hire a makeup artist and they will have a makeover because they're shooting, right? And they want to look their best. Okay, and that is going to be done by a professional. Not every lady is so well, you know, experienced in the makeup, and especially photography makeup, that would last and would enhance their features. Okay, because when you invite beauty professional, they literally can change you the way you look, you know, in a good way. They show the best parts of you, right? So when you hire a professional, you have 100%, you know, best situation when she is already confident by the way she's looking. Okay, right? But there are ladies who can do their own makeup. For example, I did my own makeup. Okay, not every time I'm very focused on this, but the beauty makeup artists will do even more. Okay, so they do a makeup, they do a hairstyle, they can change, and they can bring different kind of looks. Glamour look is very popular, bridal look is very popular, right? And so on, right? So depending, so the lady will have a makeover, and then we will have solo shots, solo portraits, right? The problem what I see most of the time shooting solo shots and couple shots is this: the husband is very keen to start the shoot, okay, and that waiting is really long, because when you go into preparation mode is between 1 hour and 2 hours, and the guys already want to shoot. Okay, so the husband is ready, basically, like he needs to change maybe, you know, a shirt or something, but the lady takes time. Okay, so that's the situation. The lady takes time, the guy is desperate to already start to shoot his sexy adventure, to put his hands on. And then I always catch myself in the moment that I have a very short time span, you know, to shoot that beautiful face, because he will snog everything off. Okay, like seriously, one gorgeous, one passionate kiss, and it's going to be ruined. Okay, and what I do during the photo shoot, right, at the stages when we change it up, I'll just fix little bit, right? Because you need fixing, you need to put a new lipstick, you need to put little bit of of the base, right, on the face, to remove that redness, especially if the guy has a beard or you know, not a clean shaven, whatever, right? But I'm just saying, there is always a short span for me to shoot those portraits. It's not that she's always, you know, beautiful and stuff. So when we start this couple session, we take a safe shot. What that means is we create those beautiful portrait pictures that the usually studio will do for you, right? But couple never want to stay there. In the reality, what they want is take their clothes off of each other. Okay, it's not that, you know, how to say, they bring a lot of outfits. Okay, seriously, couples bring a lot of outfits. Some people are very much prepared, okay, bringing luggages, right, to the shoot. So that's the situation when we have a lot of things to shoot. And there are some couples, not many, but they can bring, you know, just she's bringing a purse, and in that purse she have 3 lingerie and maybe a pair of heels, and that's it, you know. There are minimalistic sessions, but most of the time it's abundance, what I've noticed, because people buying a lot of stuff, Okay, when it comes to intimacy, different role play, different toys, different props, and they bring all, okay, to shoot and to do things. So we use it in a couple of sessions. Yeah, couple shoot, we're using all of that, right? What happens during couple shoot, I can tell you, the connection straight away goes into a hot and sexy mode, right? It escalates to the point that I am constantly bringing them back, okay? Because then they boom, 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 they come quickly, okay? So Julia is like a break during the shoot. And when I see and when I feel that it's going somewhere, and and I'm shooting different scenes, right? So we have always a story to cover. There is somewhere a beginning, there is somewhere a middle, there is an end, right? An end is also a very important part, which is so much important that you see guys sometimes forget to tell me that they're coming to an end so that I will be 100% focused and ready for them. Okay, so that's another thing. Even if we agreed on this, okay, that they will tell me a few minutes before when they're ready, and so on. So I always ask how they want to shoot, what is their favorite position, what is their fantasy, how they would like to come during the photo shoot. There are these type of intimate conversations going on between me and a couple, and of course when the lady is having makeover, I am just asking her, okay, how she wants it to do, right? But ladies usually use a sensual, right? Sensual classic mode, right? And the guys would like to be more kinkier, more naughtier, more more friskier, more, just more explicit, that kind of stuff. So that's how it goes. I'm trying to cover both, because ladies like one thing, guys would like another thing, and then it's going to be me who thinks that this style or this scenario would work. So I am always involved and I am directing the shoot, okay? So that's how it is. People are asking details, how it will be. Okay, I hope I answered that question, how it will be when you have a couple's photo shoot and the lady will be taken care of and the couple will create a lot of stuff, variety of situations, right? And usually people arrive to a changing room, okay, and they undress and then they choose what they're wearing. And then they choose their accessories and the shoes, and then we go into the studio and try to match that, and we will prepare. So the first 1 hour or two we are doing a preparation, and then we are shooting 2 or 3 hours to have a solid content. Okay, and in 2-3 hours I can cover and photography and videography. Okay, and then it depends on what will be the post-production. Post-production, it's an editing stage. Okay, and these are two different formats. Photography, it's one editing software. Videos, it's another editing software. Okay, and it takes time. So when people asking how much does it cost, I would like to ask them how long I will stay on your project. Because for me it's easy to calculate if I know how long. Okay, how long, how many images I would have. Okay, how long are the videos. So that's the thing. So let me just jump into another question. Here. And it's a big question, I can see. Let me just quickly say hi. I'm being 20 minutes in live, saying hi to those who are watching me. Hi, hello, hi, hello. And I always reply questions about photo shoots. Boudoir photo shoot, glamour photo shoot, boudoir photo shoot for men, couples, boudoir photo shoot, and of course I'm shooting nudity, right? I shoot nude, intimate, erotic scenarios. I shoot adult fantasies when we invite models or we do not invite models, right? Depending on the fantasy. It could be for couples, it could be threesome, it could be couple fantasy. Right, and I'm answering questions about these topics, right, which I cover at my studio. And I can see 2 messages. I can see there is something is going on. So you have a chance now. I am I am, at your service here, giving you attention and saying hi, hello. Of course, I'm saying hi, hello to you all being here on live with me. Thank you for your hearts. Let me just go to the top. Okay, going to the top, and then if I miss something, I miss something. Okay. So hi, hello. Hello. Where are you located? I am located in London. Okay, that's where I'm located, and that's where I'm translating from. Okay, that's where I am located. Good morning, have a nice, gorgeous as yourself, what that is. Okay, right, let me see that something else. Thank you for your hearts. I can see, you see, I can see. And hearts and fires, emojis. Okay, where are these questions? Okay, no disrespect intended, but you look like the daughter-in-law that my mom needs. Okay, there are a lot of poets here. Okay, poets here. Right, very poetic. Is it your chat GPT advise you to say this? Okay. Hi, hello. Okay, I'm just trying to see what is. You see, my blouse is just merging with this text. What is there? If I would be like a black, background, then white, this would be very well visible. Okay, hi, hello, 17 new messages. I can see you want to know something here. Okay. What is this? Hi, hello. What happens is with these messages that unfortunately I'm not able to see them all. I'm sorry, yeah? Would you date a younger guy? I would say no. Earlier. You see, earlier, when I was in my 20s and when I was in my 30s, I would say categorically no. Okay, now, when I am older, I can tell you how I define men, okay? There is a adult energy, masculine energy, okay? And there is a feminine energy. You're probably aware of that, right? So there are guys who vibrate masculine energy and then who vibrate feminine energy, right? So the feminine guys would meet more masculine ladies, like the boss ladies like that, right? And vice versa, right? Then the guys have adult energy and child's energy, okay? So that is very crucial, okay, to know. Because you see, when the adult is a child or a man is a child, he has this situation going on in his life, okay? When people vibrating in the child's energy, they very much, scared, anxious, afraid, okay? They struggle to connect with the adult, again, create a relationship, because children in general are not supposed to have any intimacy, right? So there is a situation like that. And also children do not have money, okay, because they have someone to take care of them, right? So when the adult man vibrates this energy, okay, who is not able to sustain a relationship and who has no financial situation, then it's really sad. And when the woman see this, she is not choosing you, okay? She is choosing a mature man, okay? It's not because something is wrong with you. It's because you are still in that evolvement stage, developing stage, right? Because we all came from the child's energy, right? And there are some, places where people still fall into this child energy. I can tell you by my example. Like, for example, going into expanding the business, right? So I'm very comfortable being a very small business, okay? That's where I'm comfortable, right? This is my comfort zone. Right, when we talk about expanding the business, right, exhibiting around the world, creating online galleries, hiring a huge team, and so on, that's where I shy away. It's not that I'm nervous or anxious or scared, it's just something that stopping me. So, children don't know what to do, this type of situation, right? So it happens to adults, right? Especially when there is a critical situation, even if you're adult, if you have some kind of shock to your system, traumatic experience, something, it's very easy to flip back your energy into the child's position. When you're complaining, when you're unhappy, there are many ways how children can vibrate, because when we are going through adulthood, we're going through different stages in life, right? And different stage represent different behavior, right? So when you are absolutely baby from 0 to 3 years old, you are very much scared, nervous, and afraid that your parents will not come back, or they leave you, or they not pick you up from the nursery or something. You're just scared that they would not come to you, right? And then when you're growing up, you are developing different features, like when you know better than your parents, when you are competing, when you are arguing, right? And so on. Then you are in a teenage mode, right? But like I say, when there is an absolutely healthy connection is when the adults meet adults. What we see here now in the world is when the child meets a mommy or a daddy situation, right? And we see this often, okay? So the energy meets, right? The energy meets, and you can change your energy, right? We can change our energy if we would know how to do it, right? That's why I'm talking about intimate photography, because that's a very easy way to do it, That's the easy way to do it, okay? Right? So that's what I'm saying. Meeting a person, it means meeting his energy, okay? And that has to match. So there are very young people who are feeling and behave like very adult men, right? And there are old people who are still being like children, okay? Does it make sense to you? Okay, so I'm talking now on energy level, okay? So that's how it is, right? An adult person do not see a child, okay? It's an incest in our logic to be with a child. That's why there are a lot of people in general, they are invisible. Invisible. For example, I would not see a child in any way, in any way next to me, right? Who wants to sleep with the baby? And vice versa. When the lady or the woman becomes a child, okay, even if she is very beautiful, the man doesn't want her, okay? It happened. Do you know what I'm saying? He could have a very beautiful wife, but because she is vibrating in the child's energy, he doesn't feel the attraction to that beautiful wife. And you would think, what's wrong? Like, how is this possible? It's possible, okay? Because the blowjob from the place of your child, of the child place, it's not that exciting and pleasant, okay? And that's how it is in terms of the energy. I hope I answered that. Okay, 36 messages. Thank you for asking me questions. You like that. What do I like? What about you? What about me? I just maybe told you a little bit what I think. Can you record me and you? Can you record me and you? Probably you are asking if we can, that's a very popular fantasy. There are a lot of men, okay, who would think that the photographer in the studio would provide a certain service which is beyond the photography and the videography. Okay, what that means is that it will jump, because you see, when it comes to undressing, when it comes to nudity, when it comes to touching yourself and getting aroused, very often men think that this is the situation when erotic photographer, especially when she is a female, doesn't apply to men, especially when she's a female, she will go down on the knees and just make this scene better, right? So, you know, and the woman thinks totally different, okay? Totally different about these adventures, right? So in general, because our brain wired differently, okay, our neurons move differently, we have a totally different thinking. So I've created this business and created this studio to actually show the world that there are people who desire each other and feel passion after a long time commitment with each other, right? That how to say, it's like an opposite of corn, so it's very similar, but people just feel different energy. When you watch corn, there are majority of projects based on certain agenda, okay, and most of the reasons is financial reasons, fame and popularity and other, you know, things, right, what involves in a business. When it comes to a couple who wants to explore their intimate levels, right, who wants to evolve together, go on the different vibration intimately, sexually, right, understand what's happening, how they connect to see each other, it's like analysis, you know, analysis. And of course, this is the place where they can find that novelty, the place where they can risk together, the place when they can actually create, go into a fantasy mode, right? Imagination mode, intuition mode, right? There are places when we go and let's go back to those children, right? There's many here people, probably adults, and have children. It is natural and normal for a human to evolve and progress when he is playing. When the baby human is playing and everything is related with the game and playing, it means that he is growing, right, and developing, right? When it comes to adults, we already think that we know everything, right, and there is no room to improvement, yeah, and there is nowhere to grow, okay, but there is, because when we're shooting intimate scenarios and adult scenarios, they understand how much they disconnected with their body, how much there is, how big is the gap, okay, to go, you know, to another level with your partner, how much your likings or dislikings match or mismatch, okay, to see yourself, you maybe been convinced about something and then you see your partner in a totally different way, in a totally different mode, and so on. That's a new information, that is a totally different experience when there is another person with you, okay. You did a lot of gigs in the bedroom, you and your partner, but there was no one else there. It's a dimension is changing when we invite models, okay. And if you don't want to invite model, there is me in there who sees this project in a certain way, right, and makes you do things for the camera, for the sake of adventure, right, for the, you know, for the shooting plan and so on, right. So the answer about me and you is in your fantasy only, okay. You can dream about it, there is no harm of dreaming, okay. You are developing your brain by dreaming about it, okay. But in reality, there are in the reality it's not possible. The only way it's possible if you book a solo shoot, and there will be me and you anyway in the studio, but you will be told what to do, okay, and your fantasy will be very far from the reality that you will be in. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, right. Okay, somehow I scrolled too much. I love your mustache. Do they do that? Do they do what? Do they do what? Yes, yes. So when people are shooting adult content in the studio, majority, not everyone is so open-minded and so flexible. Okay, not everyone wants to go far away. Okay, and explore. Some would like just simple nude pictures without any intimacy and sexual involvement. Okay, and we call it nude art photography, right? But most of the time, okay, couples seriously get into the mode. Okay, it's just natural when you are relaxed and when you are naked and when you are touching each other. You know, just rubbing and holding your partner, it gets you into the mood. Okay, so it's natural that these things happen. Okay, are you real? I don't think so. I am certainly understand what you mean. Okay, we have one person who understands. Absolutely, we can change our energy and karma. That's correct. Okay, and this is probably the hardest thing for humans at the moment because they do not realize that changing their energy changes their life. Okay, you can change your energy by thinking and feeling differently. Okay, so that's what we practice. Okay, hello from the friend. Great, you're a bossy lady. Oh, that's a good question. Okay, that's a good question. So before I became a photographer and videographer, right? I've studied medicine for 7 years and I worked in a hospital. But before that, you know, I've studied to be a head chef. And I think that moment for 4 years when I was working in a different kitchens made me bossy in a studio. Okay, because you have to make menus, you have to quickly prepare the dishes, and I become bossy like in the kitchen, you know. So that stayed with me. I think it contributed to the whole experience. Okay, because if I would not have this feature, I would not be able to achieve a lot of things in my studio. Okay, people in general or lazy or scared or stubborn on their ways. Okay, that they want to do things this way and not the other way. And if I'm not bossy, I would not be able to achieve the scenarios and the artwork that I am imagining seeing. I have to push them. I have to make them do a certain things. And we have a time frame as well. Okay, so I have to be this way. Okay, right. Yes, mommy. See, someone is vibrating in the child's energy and sees me as a mom. Call me daddy. There is someone who is in the daddy's energy. You see, there are so many people in different energies. You have a beautiful smile. Thank you. Outfit check. This is not that channel. Okay, going to a fashion show. Right. Beautiful princess. That's the compliments. Okay, last messages. 9 messages. I'll just scroll to the very bottom and continue. Do you see big sizes there? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. There are solo shoots with the big sizes, but where I see the big sizes and the huge sizes is with models. Okay, so people who go to an adult business, they have to have a size, a good size. The couples who would like to hire a model require 99% the size big or huge. Okay, so I have these type of models available to join my couples at the studio. Okay, very rarely I would be asked someone a small size. Very rarely. Okay, happened to me a few times. So that's the thing. So yeah, there are very big sizes in there. Okay, and what we speak here. Okay, last question. Last question. Do you see a lot of BBC? BBC, black, big. So BBC is popular with couples. Okay, because there is, how to say, You know, there is an opinion that if you hire a black model, there has to be a huge size. It's just kind of like the rule, okay? But in adult business, I can tell you, black models or black in general guys are not welcome, okay? I will explain you why. Because I worked in adult business, the models or escort ladies do not want to see these guys with the big or huge sizes, because they are not able then to how to say, to service the conveyor. Okay, they will be ruined after one gig, you know. And when you're working in a conveyor experience and seeing 20 guys, for example, over a night, there has to be smaller or normal size, right? So the fanny can stretch to the size. It's a muscle, but most of the time it's for couples who have a relationship with a normal size or a smaller size. Then they are hiring black model just for variety. Okay, just to have something different at once, right? That's why. Okay, so when it comes to adult models, right, or hiring a model, escort models, they would want to know about the size. Okay, if this is the lady, I can tell you, and they would not want you, right? Unless she is extremely horny and didn't have, you know, intimacy for a really long time, maybe then, okay? Because I do have some models who love to do that, right? So this, but this is not how to say, a case with the ladies, right? With the ladies who are working, okay? With the ladies who are not working but living with a medium or a small size, they are very much interested, okay? So that is your niche, right? That is your niche. Okay. Can you write me a recommendation letter for a highly sought position? The answer is no. Okay. I do not burn any more calories than I burn on this life. Okay. I do not call back. I do not reply any text. I don't have time. Okay. I'm creating art, and I spend my time in a creative mode. Okay, so that's why people do not get any replies, but they can catch me here and they can talk to me here, and I think that's enough. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, you can find me on my website and send me a request form if you have a certain interest. Learn adult photography or go into, you know, different kind of adventures, right? Photography and video. If you're visiting London, then that's when we can have a communication. If I have application on my web, right? But it's going to be 1 or 2 days reply, right? So let me just quickly go into another message. Okay. TikTok and YouTube, however, your YouTube channel disabled due to my community. Okay, I am this way from UK, but Indian origin. I have a little experience of adult photo shoot, which I did with my partner before, mainly for TikTok or YouTube. That's not true. You cannot post anything intimate there, okay? However, your YouTube channel was disabled due to community guidance violation. That's true. Okay. TikTok is still there. My screen name is this. Recently, I seriously considering taking OnlyFans. Okay. We're coming closer, right? And for this, I need some good photo shoot and professional video. I can send you my photos if required. However, in the photo shoot and video making, I will do with the following conditions. Not showing my face, I would use mask, and I am more into black guys, so shoot will consider interaction, cock hold, this kind of a shoot. Now, is it a lady or is it a guy? Because I do not know all the names of Indian people, but I assume this is the lady writing, okay? I assume this is the lady, and she would like to break into OnlyFans or adult business, right? Online. And when you are online and you want to become a model, of course, you need a portfolio. And of course, you would need videos, because videos now are a hit, okay? Before, when I just started adult business, I was working for this business, Girls of Paradise, okay, in London. It was very popular, okay? And I was in administrative position, and there were a lot of girls in there, right? And what we did is we had a website, and we were putting to promote the business, right? Because not everyone was on the website. People didn't know many years ago how to use it. So you would have flyers in the phone boxes in London, you know, and you would have guys who would advertise this business, right? How to attract, you know, clients and customers. Now people, when they're going into adult business and becoming a models, they have specific platforms. And OnlyFans is one of the platforms that you can just go there, register, and put your hot and sexy pictures and videos, and already gather a certain interest, okay, and find yourself clients who maybe would be regulars, okay? That's what every girl or every guy dreaming about, okay? Not sleeping with the million people, but actually every escort dreams about very good clients and that they become regular, okay? And that's why it become so promoted, because there was some people who created a pool, okay, and depending on the pool, some is very small pond, for example, having just 5 and 10 clients per month would generate a significant income, right? And that's why this business becomes so popular, because everyone wants to have, you know, money straight away, right? Straight away money. Okay, so that's why there are young generation who do not consider, okay, to graduate, right, to go into medicine or law or go into something else. They want to go on OnlyFans, you know? And that's the generation we are living in, okay? That's why Julie is creating adult galleries with people who have a totally different agenda, who has a real energy, who have a love, respect, passion, desire for each other, because that will be so rare to find in the future, okay? You will be coming to my exhibition to watch these people, okay? Because OnlyFans and corn would take over the world, okay? And people will not understand what is the relationship and how the connection should be with each other and how to sustain a long relationship, right? So, talking about new models and breaking into OnlyFans, they already know what they're going to do. And this lady is saying that she more into black guys. Here we go, Indian lady into black guys, and she is thinking about interracial shoots, which will attract a certain amount of clients who are interested specifically in that topic, okay? You know, on corn, there is this topic. There is a cockhold shoot. It means that, how she will be in a cockhold shoot, interesting. Because in a cockhold shoot, there are 2 guys and 1 lady, okay? Unless she is going to be with the gay couple. So that's interesting. Maybe it's a guy, okay? So I don't know. Is it this question comes from the guy or from the lady? From the name, for me, it's hard to say. But hiding your identity is one way, is wearing the mask. So that's true, okay? If people are interested to break into the business and they do not wish to show their self, the face and themselves, and someone, you know, could find them or see them, of course they can wear masks. But as an adult business expert, I can tell you, okay, people who are blurred face or mask has less views and less interest, okay? Before, it was a gig, okay, because everyone was like that. Very rarely you would see that someone will show you the face, okay? Very rarely. But now, young generation don't care, you know? Young generation don't care. They showing everything. They telling their parents that they are the hookers, or you know, like doing, you know, escort fetish, whatever they're doing, okay, and they think that this is dating, like real dating. That's how they think in their life, and that's fine. Everyone allowed to think the way they want. So yes, so my studio creates a photo shoot for adult models, right? Especially when they know what they want, how they want it, and what client category they want to represent, okay? So the photo shoot usually is priced by their price tag, okay? If they're charging 500 per hour, that will be one shoot. If they're charging 1,000, 3,000 per hour, that's going to be another shoot. Okay, so that's how the studio goes about it. Okay, but to hire a session, you initially paying a deposit, solo deposit fee, which is 540, and then you come to the studio, and then it will be clear how long is the shoot, what is best to shoot, how is best to shoot. Shooting erotic fantasies and representing yourself when you are adult models for a certain scenario is very good idea. But you see, when she is saying to me that she wants to present herself interracial topics, scenes, she has to have a black model next to her, because then it will be clear, okay? Then she can wear a mask, right? Then it will be clear to everyone, and it will be much easier to recognize what is the shoot about, right? And what she is showing. So that's, from one side, it's very good. From the other side, there are two gigs here to shoot. A solo shoot portfolio for her, and then a fantasy portfolio where she is performing in interracial scenes with a black model. Right? Two option scenarios. Okay, how long we have here? Oh my gosh. Okay, I have a last question to cover. What do you mean about photos? I have a last question to cover, and I quickly answer here and say hello. I love your accent. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm gonna just quickly check what you write me in that moment when I was talking about model who wants to create content for OnlyFans, right? What you mean about photos? About photos, what do I mean about photos? I mean that I am a photographer who has cameras, professional cameras and lighting equipment, okay? And I am operating and providing service at my studio, private studio, which is open by appointments only. There is no walk-in service. You cannot just drop in here, okay? It will be closed. When you have a booking hours, then you will be expected, okay? And I will meet you and greet you. There is no other way here, okay? So there is a private studio where you can arrive and create photography and videography. Okay, and usually people undress here, okay? Undress. They are learning to undress. They are teaching themselves to be confident, okay? To be brave in front of the camera, accept their body, okay? Work with their mental state when it comes to sexual energy, intimacy, undressing, right? Being awkward, being shy, being nervous when they are undressing, right? So there are many things what we do here in the studio. Okay, yeah, and that goes towards photography. Photography, or the photos that you would get not 5, not 10 pictures. You would get 100, 200, 300, up to 1,500 pictures per session. Okay, and that means that every photography that I make in the studio maintains a certain energy. Okay, there are certain codes. So you would see the shift before and after. At the start, at the beginning, people naturally don't know how to move their body, how to present themselves, how to look, right? Where to, how to express their face, how to move their hands, and in general, okay? You can see yourself stiff, frozen, disconnected, scared, and nervous. At the end of the shoot, when I would move you around and do many testing and shooting with you, you will feel differently in your body. It's very effective, And the camera doesn't lie. It take a picture of you, and you will be able to read not only the way you look, but you will be able to read and see your state, mental state and physical state shift. You know? Because there will be shots where you will be very confident. Okay? There will be shots when you will be very sexy. There will be shots when you will be extremely brave. Okay? Doing certain moves, being naked, right? I mean explicit photography. Okay? So you will find yourself in the situations that you've never been before, and you will present yourself with a present of you, real you. How you are when you are, you know, afraid and nervous, and how you are when you're not. Okay? And then you choose for yourself, there will be an evidence which one you like more, and how you want to be, you know, how do you say, going forward with your life. You want to be stiff and closed and shy, or you want to be confident and, you know, and present in that moment, understanding yourself, understanding your body, looking right straight into the camera, you know, flirting with me, you know, like confident you. Yeah, so that's what we're working on. When people are doing and going through this experience, they understand who they are more than they, you know, doing something else, because that's only them, the picture, in a different angles, in a different moments, in a different states. The way you feel changes every time. Okay, so that's what I mean. Photos, digital copies. I don't do any prints. Sometimes people are asking me to do prints. I don't do any prints. I create online galleries, and people are pressing the link and opening the gallery and see a lot of images, and they all are different lighting, different posing, different framing, different outfits, all different. That's why we're doing it, so you would understand which one is best for you, what you like about yourself, what it is great. We make art from you, your energy, your imagination, your creativity, your intuition, your flexible body, right? Your sexuality, right? Your movements, your posing, your acting, everything is in there, right? And then other things. How brave you are, how confident you are, how forward you are, you know? That's how it is, right? Pictures about that. Okay, how much per appointment? You can Google boudoir photoshoots. Okay, Google boudoir photoshoots, and you will find the different prices depending on the experience of your photographer, how long he's doing, right? So UK prices and US prices slightly maybe will be different. Okay, but then slightly you will find someone who will do it for between 700 to 3,000. Okay, that's, you know, the solid shoot you can have, right? So that's why my deposit for solo shoot is 540, and it's a minimum mini basic shoot, 5 pictures, all the highlights that we shot in the studio are included. The only thing what I don't do sexy scenes, penetration scenes under the 1,000. Okay, I don't do this. If you want, like, really move on with your shoot into an adult level and shoot on that angle, then, you know, the sexier it gets, the more pricey. Okay, that's how it is. But standard boudoir, you can Google, you can find the studio, you can try there. Okay, it just, the thing is with the studios, they all provide a great photography. They know how to shoot a certain posing, certain lighting, everything will be preset. They did that million times. When you work with the creator like me, there is nothing preset. There will be a lot of error. You understand? Because me and you are risking. Okay, we're doing totally new things. With every person, new experience, new poses. You know, he's moving, I am moving with my camera and with my lights. Okay, that's how it works. Nothing is preset, nothing is preserved. But there are shoots When there are packages, then you can have it. So there are freestyle photo shoot, there are package photo shoot, there are budget session, standard session, premium session, right? So the frisky it gets, the more experience you have, the longer it takes for you to stay in the studio, the more you shoot, the better you get. In terms of photography. Would you join a solo customer? I've already answered to this question a little bit earlier, okay, in the shoot. So the guys have a fantasy, right? They think that the photographer is doing this business, boudoir photography, nude photography, just for that reason to join them, okay? And I have to disappoint you, okay? There are, well, I'm being honest, okay? Men created porn, right? Men created porn. Why? Why? Because they're scared and afraid, okay? And they don't want to be rejected by the woman, right? So the woman, you've noticed in the whole scenarios, is ready, willing, and want to jump on them, right? When there is a conflict, right, in the relationship, the man always grows. That's why it's like that. But not everyone understands, right? When it comes to shooting adult photography, woman is shooting it for different reasons, okay? There is always creative factor, okay? There is always a therapy factor. There is always a beauty factor, right? There is always an experience in a sexual energy or passion and desire. When it comes to men, we know that photography or adult photography started with men. They abused a lot of women. It was just okay at that time. And when I started shooting adult photography, I was contacted with many models who would want to come to me to have a test shoot. You know, the sofa scene or whatever scene, okay? And they think that they would come to my studio and I would just have an intimacy with them. It's like natural, you know, like normal experience. That's what you do in adult agencies, okay? And photographers and videographers use those models, ladies models, right? If they gay, they use men. Because I showed gay, and even gay complaining they've been, you know, approached not in a professional way, okay? So men and women being approached not in professional way. That's why the woman photographer is popular. Not because couple would like that. Yes, couples really looking for woman photographer for one single reason. The guy is jealous. The husband doesn't want any other man looking at his wife. Okay, so that's a popular session. But I can tell you, woman photography is popular with adult models because adult models been raped by photographers. And then they left the money and left the outfits and left, you know, how to say, everything in that studio and ran away. I heard many situations like that. So men are like this, and when we live in this world right now, when men are seeing a woman who is, you know, how to say, have a certain presentation, right? They just assume one thing. Okay, that this is something they can buy or they can pay for, okay? And you cannot buy these things. Only in corn you can buy these things, right? You cannot buy love, you cannot buy respect, you cannot buy, you know, chemistry, okay? You cannot buy unless this is corn, and then they can pretend. They can act out, okay? That they really, really fancy you. That you are so hot, you know? That's the game they play. I've been in adult business and I can tell you, ladies who work in adult business and who have not been successful, okay? And what I mean successful, when some beautiful, gorgeous lady breaks into an adult business and then meets a sheikh, you know, who will sponsor for the rest of her life, that's a success. Right? And these are success stories that a lot of, you know, want to find, right? But I know just one girl like that, okay? The rest slept with 1,000 men, any kind, any sort, okay? And then drank themselves to death, overdosed, hanged themselves, never created any family or any relationship after that, and so on and so on. It's a very sad situation. Okay, now when it's being promoted, it's like dating and everything is fine. Okay, and I respect models because this is a hard job to go and share their sexual energies, their sexual markers with the stranger. It's like a sharing your DNK. You are connected to that person. When there is an intimacy between and the other person, you are connected forever. Believe me, connecting with me is like connecting with the witch. Because I can control you then. You think it's funny? It's not. It's not funny. That's why I'm saying that, erotic photoshoot and sexual photoshoots require a sexual energy to bring that out of your spirit, out of your body, out of your mental state, brain, and out of your heart. I'm connected to all the sources, and even though I'm not participating in that scene, I'm very close. Okay, and I'm watching and I'm feeling their energy. Okay, so I have a best agendas, and I'm put and placed here, okay, to generate that art, okay, to show these generations what will be after us, okay. But people who are working in adult business, they are sacrificing their health, literally. They're sacrificing their health, emotional health, physical health, right, spiritual health. That's the exchange. That is why the prostitute earns the same like a lawyer. That's how the life changes. People do not understand this. Someone who more mature in their brain, they would not go about it and sleep about. Because you get connected to different source, and they have a wire towards you. Yes. It's not that straightforward. And then people feel you. And they know things about you. Okay, and then they can impact you. Okay? Yes, but on the other hand, I can tell you this is an evolution. Right? And we're living in the world when our emotional state is developing. Okay? Physically, we have been developed. Right? We're already very strong in the terms of, who we are. Mentally, we understand many things and stuff. In terms of how the older generation can walk maybe further, can carry maybe heavier loads and so on. That's a totally different thing. Now we're developing, there was a mental developing, now there is a developing soul emotion wise, okay? And that's what we're doing here, right? That's why working harder or getting a second or a third or a fifth job will not get you anywhere. You have to change your energy and you have to change your mind. You see, that's how it works, and people do not understand how to do it. Art can help them. Even if you make art on yourself, it will allow you to see certain things and change things about you. Because when you have something in front of your eyes, when you know and when you see it, it's very easy to change and make that shift. When you know. When you do not know and do not see it, and this information is missing, it's very hard to change in general, right? That's why when I speak about photo shoots and sexual situations during the photo shoot, it strengthens most of the time couples because they create a certain change by their action. When they go and see a therapist and talk about their intimate life and what is missing in their life, right? They are just talking about it and imagining. It's a fantasy world. And when you take an action, physical action, the change actually happens in them. They start that change and escalates in their body. And that's why it's so fast. Because of they taking an action. Not just sitting, listening, and then going home. The therapy in general takes so long for that reason, because there is no action taken, right? So coming back to erotic photography and erotic photo shoots, I am not going to read another question because this question is about couple who are interested in cuckold fantasy shoot, and then again it involves a model. And I today discussed a little bit about that, so I'm going to leave you and appreciate you, saying thank you for coming and watching me and asking me questions. Can we go to dinner? Can we go to dinner? The answer is no. I am here to talk and share my knowledge, okay? And this knowledge is packed in this head, okay? When I speak, I don't say everything, okay? I am like a spy. I am like a spy. It is very hard for me to say, but when you ask questions, you will know. Then I will open up and I will give you information. That's why for me question format is very easy, okay? And when you're asking questions, you can know more, right? So I'm creating this live to explain people about a very powerful resource that we all holding to ourselves, which is a sexual energy, which happens and develops daily in our bodies, okay? Because we are adults, right? Then we maneuver and leverage with that energy. Some invest in certain projects, some invest in the relationship, some invest and make money, right? Some invest and present themselves, right? The sexual energy for adults is not about this, okay? It's not about doing things, right? Not only. And when it comes to doing things, that's why we have imagination, right? We have intuition, and this is our intellect who is responsible how strong and amazing the vibrations we will have during intimacy, okay? And some couples cannot reach that, right? It's getting boring in their intimate life, right? That's why they need erotic and understand and learn a little bit, right, about it. So that's why I am here, to discuss this topic, to present this topic, to talk about photo shoots that's happening in my studio, what people want to shoot, how they want, what kind of the questions they're asking. I am here not to go on a dinner, okay? I'm here to discuss erotica, so I hope you understand, but thank you so much for asking, yeah? Okay. Knowledge about what? Knowledge about what? There are some accounts who has no face, okay? Who has no face and no picture, okay? The accounts who has no face and no picture are afraid to represent themselves and show themselves to the world, okay? So these people are on the lowest level of the evolution because they even do not see themselves, cannot see themselves. I've been in the place where I cannot see themselves, I could not hear myself, I was recording videos and I did not like my voice, I hated the way I speak, and you know, and so on. I had to practice this and learn this. It took me years, to be fair, you know. It took me years. I've recorded a lot of videos till I would be able to actually join two sentences together. You know, I'm not English, right? So that's how it is. So I'm welcoming people who are just in an initial state of the evolution, right? If people are very often saying the earth is the school, and we are here to learn things, okay? And everyone is graduating or is in a different class, right? Different class. So these people are just in the nursery. Okay, but thank you for asking me questions. Okay, thank you so much for today. Love you, kiss you, mean it, and I hope I see you tomorrow. I still have the whole list of questions that I am happy to discuss here on live, and I am here to answer your questions. The next time when you see me, please do, please ask. Thank you so much, and bye. Bye.